Okay, thank you. President Lee, I believe we do have a quorum, so we are good to start.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody is ready, we'll go ahead and keep you guys muted, but if you'll go ahead and do it along with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Alexis, if you could go ahead with the roll call and just confirm quorum for me, please.
Yes. President Lee,
Here?
Vice President Close, Superintendent Hoffman,
Here.
Dr. Crockett, Dr. Crockett,
Here.
Mr. Mason,
Present.
Ms. Rice, Mr. Swanson, Mr. Swanson,
Present.
Mr. Twist,
Present.
Ms. Yana, Ms. Yanov,
I'm here. I'm here.
President Lee, you have a quorum.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And just a few housekeeping rules regarding a virtual meeting. First off, I just want to say thank you, everybody, just for getting on this way. We really appreciate it. Board members, we're going to ask you to stay muted. And after each agenda item, Ashley will go through the roll call to see if any members has a comment or a question. This will just help make sure that we're not talking over each other. Also, please be sure to state your name before you speak for the record. Charters that are on the agenda, we're going to ask that you also stay muted until your item is considered, and then Ashley will ask if the charter is available, and if so, at that time you can unmute yourself. And then the general public is viewing the meeting via live stream, or they've called in via Zoom and will be muted. Also at this time, I'm going to go ahead and ask that we consider the Great Hearts renewal right after the amendment request. I'm going to ask that we move item I1, Chandler Preparatory Academy renewal, to be considered after H2. Ashley, do I need an official motion for that?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So I move item I1, Chandler Preparatory Academy renewal to be considered after H2. Is there a second?
Second, Matt Mason.
Thank you, Matt. And Alexis, if you'll do the roll call.
Vice President, Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
Mr. Twist,
Aye.
Ms. Yanoff,
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
Motion
Thank
passes
you. And that was
unanimously.
perfect. Thank you. And just to be clear, that was just so that Great Hearts didn't have to wait, could do all their amendment requests and then do their renewal, so they didn't have to wait through all the amendment items, and so that way they could jump off the line if they needed to. Okay, so moving on, item agenda D, superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Lee. I'll turn my camera on for this. 1 second. So thank you, President Lee, members of the board, and to everyone who's joining us today. Good morning, and thank you for being here. I know it's been a tough few months for schools, but I'm very for the work of our education leaders, both in the Department of Education, as well as across the state, all of our educators who have made this transition of learning at home a little bit. And I know it's been a tough transition for everyone. Last week, we celebrated teachers throughout Teacher Appreciation Week, and I want to acknowledge that their work has gone above and beyond throughout the COVID-19 crisis. I do have several important announcements to make, so I'll share this information with those in your school communities as well. So first, recently we convened the first meeting of our Reopening Schools Task Force, so planning for reopening schools in the next academic year. And this is to help with the planning process and develop recommendations for schools to use as they plan for the next school year. Our plan is to have this plan, this framework, completed and distributed by the end of May. I know this is information that schools are saying we needed yesterday. We're working diligently to get that out by the end of May, and very grateful to have a robust task force made up of educators and school leaders, and also working Department of Health Services, the Arizona School Nurse Organization, to make sure that we have a very comprehensive plan. I know one area that is of particular concern, and I've been getting emails and calls about this. One area of concern for many school leaders is around the issues surrounding online instruction, and importantly, the funding mechanisms that are tied to online instruction. So we do have a subcommittee of the task force that is currently working on this issue, and they're exploring various types of instructional models like the hybrid online learning models. However, some of these models could require legislative fixes to secure funding. So please know that we will be advocating for fair and equitable funding mechanisms to make sure that our schools can continue to serve students, families, and communities through and beyond this crisis. And I also want to emphasize that while we are working on the state plan to with these recommendations, I also want to make sure to emphasize that I encourage schools to be working on their own contingency plans for the next school year. So our state plan needs to be flexible to accommodate all the unique needs of we have all different types of schools across the state. So I encourage local school leaders, start now if you haven't already, start engaging with your educators, with your families, to ensure that your own plans, or even having your own contingency plan, can meet the needs of your local communities. So it's really important that we don't want people just waiting for the state plan. We want our state plan to be adding and supplementing what you're already thinking about for your local community. Another important announcement is around public assistance. As of March 20th, FEMA has been allowing states to initiate their public assistance programs, otherwise known as PA programs, which allows states to apply for reimbursement of COVID-19 related emergency response and protective measures, which have been incurred since January 20th, 2020. The PA program, the Public Assistance Program, is a reimbursement program intended to assist jurisdictions in recouping disaster-related costs that are above and beyond their ability to recover without state or federal assistance. As of April 3rd, 2020, the Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs, or DEMA, initiated applicant briefings in response to the COVID-19 declaration, which thus enabled cities, counties, cities, towns, special taxing districts, and certain tribal nations, private nonprofits, and houses of worship to begin participating in the program. Applicant briefings continue to be held weekly by DEMA. So if you're interested and if you think you might be eligible under the PA program, and if you have not already attended an applicant briefing for this event, please email a request for an invitation to the next applicant briefing to infrastructure@azdema.gov. So azdema.gov. In order to participate in the PA program and seek reimbursement, it is critical to attend the applicant briefing. It is recommended that multiple staff from each applicant, from each application attend the briefing. Recommended staff includes leadership, policy, emergency managers, finance, and local elected officials. Each applicant briefing is conducted virtually. Following the briefing, applicants with potential eligible costs under the program must submit their grants portal applications. Once the grants portal application and request for public assistance are received and approved, DEMA Recovery will assign a project specialist to each applicant. The Arizona Department of Education will be serving more information about this process with district and charter leaders in email announcements. I've also shared a PDF outlining this process with board staff. So please reach out to board staff as well if you have any questions. In regards to PPE or protective gear, protective equipment, the Department of Health Services recommends that schools continue to try to obtain PPE through a vendor. If schools are still unable to obtain PPE, then they can place a request with their local public health department. So we will also be providing details about this to board staff. So you have the instructions on how to request PPE. The last thing I want to share to end on a positive note is that I've been continuing my school visits virtually in the recent months, which has been very positive. Meeting with schools and teachers and educators across the state through their virtual platforms. It's been very helpful for me to hear directly from educators around the state who are providing academic, social, and emotional learning opportunities for their students. In the last couple of weeks, I've spoken with Vista College Prep, Imagine Schools Coolidge, and the Leona Group. And just naming a couple, it's actually made it a lot easier to participate in meetings virtually rather than driving, although I would much rather be there in person to see classrooms firsthand and to get to meet more personally with everyone. But it has been great to be able to just drop in virtually into their staff meetings. I'm also planning to meet with school leaders in Mojave County and Pinal County, the Star Charter School in Coconino County. So we're continuing to plan these virtual visits. And if you would like to request to invite me to one of your virtual meetings, then you can email our communications team at communications@azed.gov. And just to end, I love hearing directly from our educators on how they have been meeting the needs of our students, even from afar. Thank you all, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Superintendent Hoffman. Really appreciate it. All right, moving on. Item E, Executive Director's Report. Ashley, do you have an update for us?
Yes, thank you, President Lee. President Lee and board members, the first update I have for you is for Vision Charter School. Previously, the board had requested the board staff to continue to update the board as to the status of this charter. So during the school closure, we reached out to Vision Charter School and got information as to how they're continuing to provide instruction to their students throughout the closure. As of right now, the school is creating packets, and every Wednesday they're dropping off packets and picking up packets from their students. So we are continuing to have conversations with Vision, but right now are confident that they're still serving their students. With regard to item 1B, an update on school closures, first I just want to say thank you to all of our charters. They have done an incredible job with meeting the needs of their students and continuing instruction. And just to echo some of what Superintendent Hoffman had said, there is a lot going on and there's a lot of hardship, but I think the schools have really stepped up. From our charter board perspective, what staff has been doing is been working in collaboration with the Department of Education, also State Board of Education, and the governor's office in making sure that any of the guidance that they have for schools is being provided to our charter. So really helping in that communication. Also, the superintendent did mention her task force in working on trying to come up with some solutions for the next school year. We do have board staff involved in that process as well. So we will be making sure that we are continuing to help our schools through that time and voicing the concerns that we hear and the feedback that we get. We did send out a survey to all of our schools right when the closure started. We wanted to make sure that we were highlighting the good work that our schools are doing. So we did send a survey out and we are still working on getting that information back. As of right now, most of our schools have responded, but there are just a few that we're working on getting. But based on that information, it's incredible what our schools are doing. So I think from a board's perspective, we're happy, or board staff, I should say, we're happy with what we've seen and we'll continue to make sure that we are a resource for schools moving forward. With regard to the financial performance framework for not only fiscal year 2019, which we're reviewing right now, but then also going into the upcoming fiscal year 2020 review. As this is the first year implementing the new financial framework, staff will be proposing changes to the financial framework and administrative rules. And this is based on the feedback that we've received from auditors and charters throughout the last couple of months as we've been reviewing the FY 2019 financial audit responses, and then also the first couple comments that have come in for the intervention process. Staff plans to put the changes out for public comment early this summer and bring the final revisions to the board in July or at the latest in August. Some of the changes being considered by staff right now include clarifying and modifying the items required as part of the initial financial response, which is the first response submitted to the board by a charter holder assigned an intervention rating. It also, additional changes include determining whether the items identified in the framework definition of non-cash expenses should be clarified, expanded, or both. Another item for consideration is determining whether the adjusted net income formula should be modified. And then also modifying certain criteria identified in staff's report on the initial financial response for the questions that ask, in what direction is the charter holder's financial health heading? For example, considering whether the current ADM growth rate should be considered in lieu of or in addition to the 3-year average. With all of these changes and all of these suggestions, please continue to reach out to Andrea, leader, or other board staff on your concerns, but we are hearing feedback and we'll make sure to put all of those comments out for public comment and then also bring those back to the board for additional opportunity for public comment for charters and then also for the full board's approval later in the next couple months. Presently, that is all I have to report.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. All right. Moving on to item F, call the public. I just wanted to thank board staff for really pivoting and getting this meeting up and being able to do it virtually. One way we did that, one way you guys did that was to have people be able to submit public comment via email, which they typically can, but also mail. And it's my understanding that that was due by end of business on Friday, May 8th. And at that point, and I think up until today, there's been no public comment that was received. Is that correct still, Ashley or Alexis?
That is correct.
Okay, perfect. So we will move right on to G, the consent agenda. We will be pulling Valor Amendment item 3S at the request of the charter. And at this time, do any members need to recuse themselves from the consent agenda?
Yeah, I need to, Ashley, help me out here. I
Can you
need to
state your name?
pull, oh, sorry, this is Eric Twist. I don't actually see the agenda in front of me. Sorry, I'm looking at the,
Hey, Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Eric, hi, it's President Mary Only. If you want, if it's easier, we could actually just have you refrain from doing the entire consent agenda, and then we can just take it in one motion anyway. Would you be comfortable with that?
perfect, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Great. Okay, and then Ashley, could you actually go through roll call to see if any board members would like to pull any agenda items for additional discussion?
Starting with Vice President Close, do you have any items for discussion or would like to pull any items?
I have nothing.
Superintendent Hoffman,
No, thank you.
Carol Crockett,
I just have one suggestion on Pensar Academy. I don't know if we have to pull it, but I just want to suggest that that unrelated.
Carol, would you like to take Pensar separately? Would you like us to pull that from the consent agenda and have a separate discussion? So we'll
Yes,
first
let's
take.
do it.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So President Lee, let's, based on Carol's discussion or comment, let's pull item, I'm sorry, I'm just going back on Pensar. It is 3L for additional discussion. Therefore, the consent agenda would not include items 3S, Valor, and Pensar. And I'll go through the other
Thank you.
members. Okay, Matt, do you have anything that needs to be pulled off?
None.
Mr. Swanson?
All good with.
Ms. Yanov?
No, nothing for me.
All right, presently that is it.
Okay, thank you, Ash.
This is Vicki Bergen. Can we make a motion to move those items, please?
Yep.
Thank you.
I move, let me just grab the numbers really fast. So I move that item 3S and 3L come off the consent agenda. 3S, sorry, let me just look. 3S, I believe, was Valor. Yep, 3S will be Valor, so that will be removed completely, and then 3L will be moved for further discussion. Is there a second?
Second, this is Hans Close.
Do we need to do a roll call, or can we do it by?
No, we need to do by roll call.
Okay, yep. So then Alexis, if you'll go ahead and do the roll call, please.
Vice President Close,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson, Mr.
Aye.
Swanson,
Aye, sorry.
Mr. Twist,
Hey, I've recused myself.
Ms. Yanov,
Aye.
President Lee,
Aye.
motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you. And then is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with all the items left?
Matt Mason, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second, Carol Crockett.
Good, thank you. And Alexis, if you'll go ahead and do the roll call, please.
Vice President Close,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson, Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
Ms. Yanov,
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, thank you. So we are going to go ahead and discuss. Apologize, I am flipping through tabs on my computer right now. So we're going to go ahead and discuss Pensar Academy. Mrs. Crockett, did you want to make a few comments?
Yes, thank you. President Lee, I'm concerned that the approval of Pensar Academy amendment request is, because it results in 2 of the 3 corporate board members being related to one another. I just would like to suggest that additional members who are unrelated be added to avoid any potential or perceived conflict of interest. And I don't know if the charter, I don't know if other members feel the same way.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Crockett. Ashley, is there a representative on the line?
I believe there is a representative on the line. If they want to go ahead and unmute themselves, they can feel free to speak.
Hi. Good morning, board members. Jeffrey Zupats, Pensar Academy.
Yes, hi. If you could just, this is President Lee. If you could just make a few comments about your board makeup, because I think a few board members, including myself and Dr. Crockett, are just concerned that 2 out of the 3 are related.
I can understand that. We have 2 potential vetted candidates that once this update hopefully is approved, that we are going to be seeking approval for formally. So that would bring the board count to 5 members. I understand, and I definitely can see the concern. I diligently looked for replacement candidates, and we've been searching, for members that shared our vision and our mission at Pensar. And I do understand the concern for that, and I do have 2 candidates ready to come in if our board approves it.
Perfect. Dr. Crockett, did you have any specific questions?
No, that answers it very completely. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Rachel Yanoff. Well, before we move on from this, is it possible two things, but I'm going to say them while I'm thinking of it. 2 things. One, is it possible for you, Pensar Academy, to come back when you have a more diverse board? Just because in the interim, anytime those 2 members sit down to dinner together, we violate open meeting law potentially, and I'm not really sure that that's possible to avoid. So if the next board meeting would be an option that would avoid some of that potential hazard. And then I also would like to suggest, just for the sake of knowing that my name went from Bennett to Yanoff, and many people do things like that, could we please have board staff create a process so that we can actually ask that question when people are applying, so that we can know if there are any related parties, especially since last names can be different. So those are my 2 thoughts.
Thank you, Mrs. Yanoff and Ashley. I just want to echo Mrs. Yanoff's request of a change to the charter holder governance with a statement to disclose if their board members are related, just because, yes, we won't always catch it by a matching last name. And then also echoing the request of just table this item potentially until they can come back with a more robust board. And I'm assuming they can put that at the next meeting, which will be in July. Is that correct?
That is correct. So what I will do is I will make sure to take note of the recommendation to update the charter holder governance request to include a statement or a disclosure about relatives or related parties. And then I will also make sure to bring Pensar back in July with additional board members at that time.
Thank you, Ashley. And do we want to do a go through and just see if there are any other comments from any other board members?
Yes, I can do that. Vice President Close,
None.
Superintendent Hoffman,
No other comments. I am hearing an echo. It kind of depends on who's talking, but just wanted to bring your attention to that.
if you are hearing echo, let us know. And for those people, sometimes what happens if your volume's too high on your own computer, it could be just getting that feedback. So are you getting that feedback from me right now?
No, you sound great.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, Carol Crockett,
No additional comments. Thank you.
Matt Mason,
None.
Jim Swanson, Eric, Mr. Swanson.
None here. None here. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
I'm very good at this.
Okay, Mr. Twist,
Nope.
Ms. Yanov,
No additional comments.
President Lee.
None. Thank you. And did we need, and Pensar, I just wanted to make sure if you had any additional comments that you had a chance to say those. I apologize. I should have done that first. But if not, then we'll just table this until July when you have those 2 members that you were able to vet out.
And Marion, or I'm sorry, President Lee and Vicky, do we need to do a motion to table?
Yes, we need a motion to table the item regarding Pensar.
Okay.
Swanson, so moved.
Mason, second.
Awesome. Alexis, can you do the roll call, please?
Vice President Close,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
Mr. Twist,
Aye.
Ms. Yanov,
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So it looks like we can go ahead and move on to item H, charter amendments. Rachel, it looks like you are up for anthem. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. We are actually going to take, oh no, that's correct. Yeah, Rachel, you're up for Anthem Preparatory Academy enrollment cap increase.
All right. President Lee, Superintendent Hoffman, board members, Anthem Preparatory Academy has submitted an amendment request to increase the enrollment cap from 860 to 1,102 for fiscal year 22. The increase is to allow the charter holder, I apologize, that's for fiscal year 21. The increase is to allow the charter holder to serve more students in the community without increasing class sizes. The charter holder does not meet the staff recommendation criteria because enrollment trends do not indicate that the charter holder will exceed its enrollment cap in the next 3 years.
Thank you, Rachel. So I'm gonna, instead of going through all the board members, I'm just gonna say, are there any questions? And then for Rachel, and then maybe we'll just pause for 5 seconds. That way it's a little bit faster, just because there's typically not questions during this point. So board members, are there any questions? Perfect. If not, is there a charter representative? And if so, could you please unmute yourself at this time?
Good morning, President Lee and board members. This is Brandon Crow from Great Hearts Academies. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can. Thank you so much. And then Ashley, if you would like to go through the roll call to ask if there's any questions or comments about this particular item.
Vice President Close,
None.
Superintendent Hoffman,
No questions.
Ms. Crockett,
None.
Mr. Mason,
None.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
Mr. Twist? Oh, Mr. Twist, are you recusing yourself from this?
I am, yes.
Ms. Yanov?
I think I'm good. Sorry. Thank you.
President Lee?
And I have no concerns as well. So with that, is there a motion?
This is Hans. I'll make a motion. I move based on the information contained in the board materials and presented today to approve the request to increase enrollment cap from 860 to 1,102 for the contract held by Anthem Preparatory Academy.
Is there a second?
Second, Crockett.
Thank you, Dr. Crockett. And Alexis, if you'll do the roll call.
Vice President Close,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
Ms. Yanov,
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Awesome. Thank you. So go ahead, moving on to item 2. Rachel, you're up.
Archway Classical Academy, Trivium West, has submitted a new school amendment request to add Great Hearts Academy's Archway Buckeye to its charter. The new school will be open in fiscal year 22 and serve students in grades K-8 in Buckeye near Jackrabbit Trail and Van Buren Road. In conjunction with the new school amendment request, the charter holder has requested to increase its enrollment cap from 720 to 3,714 to accommodate enrollment at the proposed school and continued growth at Great Hearts Academy's Archway Trivium West. The charter holder does not meet the staff recommendation criteria because the charter holder is currently operating at 68% of its current enrollment cap of 720. However, the opening of the new school in fiscal year 22 will put the charter holder over its enrollment cap.
Awesome. Board members, any questions for Rachel? We'll just wait 5 seconds so people can unmute themselves just in case they want to ask a question. Perfect. And with that, is there a motion?
This is Carol Crockett. I move based on the information contained on the board material in the board materials and presented today to approve the request to add a new school to the contract of Archway Classical Academy, Trivium West, and increase the enrollment cap of the charter from 720 to 3,714.
Thank you, Dr. Crockett. Is there a second?
Second, it's Close.
Thank you. And with that, Alexis, can you take the roll call, please?
Vice President Close,
All right, sounds good.
Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
Ms. Yanov, Ms. Yanov, President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you. And we are going to, as mentioned earlier and approved earlier, go ahead and go to item I2, Desert Sky Community School. Rachel, you are still up.
All right, Chandler Preparatory Academy submitted a charter renewal application package on October 31st of 2019 to continue operation of Great Hearts Academy's Chandler Prep. Great Hearts Academy's Chandler Prep serves grades 6 through 12 in Chandler with a current enrollment cap of 1,100. As part of the renewal process, staff conducted an on-site academic systems review visit on February 6th of 2020. The charter holder was in compliance in all areas. The charter holder currently meets the board's academic, operational, and financial performance expectations.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. And I misspoke. I said item I2. I meant to say item I1, but you absolutely presented on item I1. So thank you for not following what I said. Board members, are there any questions? Ashley, since this is a renewal, would you feel more comfortable going through, or are you comfortable with me just waiting a few seconds for board members to comment if they have any?
We can wait a few seconds. That's fine.
Okay, perfect. Board members, are there any questions about this renewal? Okay. Sounds like there aren't any questions. Feel free to interrupt me as I'm talking. If not, otherwise, yeah, this school looks good to go. Alexis, could you please, oh, excuse me, is there a motion?
This is Hans. Is this for Chandler Prep, right?
Yes.
Okay, I move based on a review of the information provided by the representative of the charter holder and the contents of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant renewal contract with Chandler Preparatory Academy.
Great. Is there a second?
Second, Crockett.
Thank you, Dr. Crockett. And Alexis, will you do the roll call?
Vice President Close,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
Ms. Yanoff, President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great. Thank you so much. And congratulations. All right. So we will go back to the charter amendments, and we are going to go ahead and do charter amendment H3 Highland Prep. Rachel, you are still up.
Highland Prep has submitted an amendment request to increase the enrollment cap from 450 to 600 for fiscal year 21. The increase is to accommodate the addition of 12th grade in fiscal year 21 as planned in the original new charter application. The charter holder does not meet the staff recommendation criteria because it is currently operating at 74% of its current enrollment cap of 450.
Board members, are there any questions for Rachel? Okay, and if not, is there a motion?
This is Hans.
Awesome.
I don't have a problem. I move based on the information contained in the board materials and presented today to approve the request to increase the enrollment cap from 425 to 600 for the contract held by Highland Prep.
Second,
And is there-
this is Eric Twist.
Thank you, Eric. And Alexis?
Vice President Close,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
Mr. Twist,
Aye.
Ms. Yanoff,
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great. All right. Okay, moving on to item 4, Synergy Public School. Rachel.
Synergy Public School has submitted an amendment request to change its grades served from K5 to K8 and to increase its enrollment cap from 425 to 950 for fiscal year 21. The charter holder is requesting the grade level change to allow currently enrolled 5th grade students to stay through 8th grade and to provide convenience to families and improve academic achievement. The increased enrollment cap will allow the charter to accommodate additional students in the new grades. The charter holder does not meet the staff recommendation criteria because Synergy Public School does not perform at or above the average performance of a majority of schools within a 5-mile radius in math.
All right, and is there, Ashley, or is there a representative for Synergy? If there is, just at this time, if you could unmute yourself and just state your name for the record, please. Ashley, do we know if we have a representative from Synergy?
I am not
I know
sure.
sometimes,
I
okay, I know
wonder,
sometimes,
I wonder if what we should do is maybe give them a little bit more time. Just we'll reach out to them and see. I just want to make sure that they have an opportunity to be here to address the board.
Actually, Ashley, I can see that Lori Weiss, who is the representative from Synergy, is on the Zoom. I can see her name.
Okay.
So I can have Dan unmute her and then let's see if she is with us.
Okay.
Is maybe give them a little bit more time. Just we'll reach out to them and see.
Can you
I
hear
just want to
me?
make sure that they have an opportunity to be here to address the board. Which
Actually, Ashley, I can see that Lori Weiss, who is the representative from Synergy, is on the Zoom. I can see her name.
okay.
So I can have Dan unmute her and then let's see if she is with us. So I'm going to add, so it sounds like Lori may be also on the YouTube channel. So Lori, if you're on the line, I would encourage you to exit the YouTube so we don't get the delayed response as well.
Yeah, I can see that Lori Weiss, who is the representative from Synergy, is on the Zoom. I can see her name. Okay. So I can have Dan unmute her and then let's see if she is with us.
So I'm
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes.
It took us a few minutes. Sorry.
No,
Can
that's
you hear me?
okay. We appreciate you working with technology to be here.
Thank you.
All right, so this is just Mary Ellen Lee. I just had a couple questions about your enrollment cap, because typically when we see an enrollment cap, we only approve what's being requested for the next 2 to 3 years. And we see that, for you to get to FY 2023, you only need 750, but you've requested 950. And so if you could just speak into that a little bit, I'd appreciate that.
Well, the 950 is us planning long-term into 2025. As we continue to grow, we're seeing that in the near future, we're going to have to be able to serve at least 950 students. When we opened the K-5 school, we had a wide base of 4 kindergarten classrooms. Students, the high student retention rate really has demanded an increase in classrooms each year. A significant number of our kindergartners have remained enrolled and have stayed at Synergy for 1st and 2nd grade. This trend has allowed us to project the future enrollment of Synergy next year. We are going to add 2 additional 3rd grade classrooms due to the number of 2nd graders moving into 3rd grade, as well as 2 6th grade classrooms based on the number of 5th graders that we have if our amendment is approved. We've surveyed 5th grade parents, and we know that we have enough students returning to fill 2 6th grade classrooms if the amendment is approved. And then our projections show that Synergy will have 4 classrooms at each grade level, K-5, and a total of 6 classrooms in 6th, 7th, and 8th grades, with a total of enrollment of 750 students by 2023. And then we have the potential to reach full capacity in 2025 of 950 students. So not having the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, it's going to have a potential negative effect on our enrollment, as parents are preferring to have all of their K-8 students in one school.
Sure, absolutely. And can you comment maybe on just what your plans are for math? So it looks like, I'm looking at your data, and it looks like when you're talking about how you're performing with the other schools in your 5-mile and 2-mile radius, you seem to be doing better in ELA. With the 2-mile radius, you're doing better in science. The 5-mile radius, not quite, but in math, in both the 2 and 5-mile radius, that seems to be just an area where there could be some improvement. So could you talk to me a little bit about your plans for that, especially as you're adding on the new grade levels?
Yes, we did review the executive summary, and we're not satisfied with the percentage of students demonstrating proficiency in math, and we really have already taken action to put steps in place to address the concern. We're already seeing results from these actions, and we're working strategically and urgently to close the achievement gap.
When we're analyzing our Galileo internal assessments and AZ merit scores, it's evident that many of the students were working below grade level or struggling with higher application of the standards, so we needed to reevaluate our approach. So the past 3 years, teachers have been using Engage New York, Beyond Textbooks, and teacher-created lessons. After considering several programs, we adopted Dimensions by Singapore Math. Dimensions, we feel, addresses the higher level complexity of the standard we're looking for. It provides more effective formative and unit assessments for immediate student progress checks to adjust instruction. It provides additional supplemental materials, and it's easy for both brand new teachers as well as experienced teachers to follow the gradual release of responsibility framework. Teachers have also began daily math fluency practices to increase automaticity with math, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. We've hired an experienced, highly effective teacher as an academic coach to support our teachers by training the curriculum, modeling classroom lessons, planning weekly with teachers to ensure that the standards are fully being taught and lessons are directly aligned to the standards. And our director of curriculum instruction and academic coach are meeting weekly with every grade level to support lesson planning, which has significantly increased the quality of our lessons. We also began implementing weekly Galileo assessments directly aligned to the standards. Synergy implemented a daily math intervention block, knowing that not every child is going to master the standard during the first rounds of instructions, but the teachers are also using the AZ Merit Blueprint to help prioritize standards, ensuring that power standards receive the majority of the instruction, and implementing this intervention block has ensured that prior taught standards that have not been mastered are retaught and reassessed to monitor students' progress towards the mastery. Professional development has been provided on how to create Galileo quizzes and how to use the data to group students more effectively for intervention. And then finally, in observing our teachers, we found that teachers really were not providing ample opportunities for students to have independent practice, which is a critical component of the GRR framework. And we understand that without this independent practice, teachers really do not have enough individual data to determine mastery in order to adjust instruction. So we focused our professional development sessions specifically around the independent practice portion of the GRR and provided teachers real-time feedback through classroom observation and student interviews.
Great. Thank you. This is President Lee. Thank you so much for that response. And board members, I know that typically I get a little nervous approving these when the area of concern really is them performing at or above average. That being said, I would like to just point out on the executive summary and board staff, thank you so much for really just adding so much more data that I think gives.
Hello?
The full pay and see that as students are with are staying with the.
I'm sorry, you cut out. Can you restate what your comments? I'm so sorry.
They are actually increasing. Oh, not to say, typically I get approving the ed is how they perform with their counterparts in that 2 and 5 mile radius. But that being said, I just wanted to say thank you to board staff for just including this extra data, because I think it paints a fuller picture of our charters and how they're doing. If you guys take note of the stability proficiency, you can see that students that are staying with this charter are actually increasing significantly, 15% in ELA, 4% in math. And then you can also note that their FRL population is 10% over, I think it's 18% exactly what the current 5 miles is, as well as their ELL population is 9% over what the typical school is within a 5 mile radius. So with that, I know I'm feeling comfortable moving forward with this approval. That being said, I would feel more comfortable approving this for what we typically approve it for, especially since you guys are in your third year. There's still some room for improvement in that math area. So the only thing that I would suggest that we change would be to do the 750 student enrollment cap that'll get them through the 3 years. And obviously they can always come back sooner if they see that they're gonna surpass that. So that would be my recommendation, is that we approve, but with the 750. Board members, are there any other comments, questions, or maybe if we're on board with that, or if we wanted to go a different route?
This is Rachel Yanoff. I too very much appreciate the detail that we get in our packets, and it helps to look at the whole picture of the school. And I just want to say I appreciate the commitment you have to the students you're serving. But I also agree that from a consistency perspective, that it makes sense for us to approve the 750 number, and therefore I think we've done that now enough that seems to be something that we do. So let's be as consistent as we can with it. That would be my recommendation.
Thank you, Rachel. Board members, any other comments or questions? Okay. If not, then is there a motion?
This is Hans. I move, based on the information contained in the board materials and presented today, to approve the request to add grades 6 through 8 and increase the enrollment cap from 450 to 750 for the contract held by Synergy Public School.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Close. Is there a second?
Second, this is Crockett.
Thank you, Dr. Crockett. And Alexis?
Vice President Close,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Mason, Mr. Mason, Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
Mr. Twist,
Aye.
Ms. Yana,
Aye.
President Lee,
Aye.
and one more time for Mr. Mason. Okay, motion passes unanimously.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you supporting us.
Yes, thank you so much for being on the line, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item 5, Grande Innovation Academy. Rachel.
The Grande Innovation Academy has submitted an amendment request to increase its enrollment cap from 650 to 900 for fiscal year 2021. The charter holder stated that the requested increase is due to enrollment growth trends over the past 3 years and the growing community of Casa Grande. The charter holder does not meet the staff recommendation criteria because the Grande Innovation Academy does not perform at or above the average performance of nearby schools in ELA. The charter holder has also submitted an amendment to add an AOI that is currently being evaluated by Rio Salado. It should be noted that this school operated for 3 years under the Odyssey Preparatory Academy charter prior to transitioning to the Grande Innovation Academy charter.
All right, thank you, Rachel. And is the representative from Grande Innovation Academy here?
Yes, this is Patty Messer. Good morning.
Hi, Patty. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
If you will, board members, are there any questions for Patty? I just need a second to pull up the materials. I do have a question, but it'll just be 1 minute as I'm tabbing through some stuff. I apologize.
President Lee, would you like me to go through the list of board members?
Yes, if you could, that would be great. Thanks.
Vice President Close, do you have any questions?
Not right now. I might in a few.
Okay. Superintendent Hoffman?
No, thank you.
Dr. Crockett?
Yes, I do have a question. Wondering, see, Grande Innovation Academy has a letter grade of C. It's been in existence for 5 years. can the representative speak to past letter grades?
Yes, this is Patty Messer. I sure can. So when as was mentioned, this school started out with Odyssey Preparatory Academy, and then I wrote the charter for the Grande Innovation Academy. Coming online that first year, of course, we didn't have a grade. Then we started out with a C. In 2019, we dropped down to, or 18, sorry, dropped down to a D, and then brought that up significantly right in the middle of a C. And that was mostly due to having better retention of our staff members and our teachers, and just getting to that point of sustainability with students, keeping what we had in our seats and being able to teach them. And that FAY in the board report will actually address those numbers as far as our FAY students.
Thank you. I just wonder if I'd like to make a recommendation to staff, actually, to see if we couldn't get the letter grades in our summaries of several years, including not only the current year, but the past 2 years. I think that would be very helpful for me.
Dr. Crockett, this is Ashley Berg. I'd be more than happy to include the past 3 years of letter grades in our executive summaries going forward for all schools.
Thank you.
All right, and that was my, oh, sorry, Ashley, go ahead. I keep going through the list. I don't want to mistake my turn. Go ahead.
Okay. The next person is Matt Mason. Do you have any questions?
Not right now.
Okay. Mr. Swanson? Mr. Twist?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Ms. Yanoff?
I'm good, but I would agree with Dr. Crockett, and I appreciate your response, Ashley. I think a couple years of letter grades will also be helpful, and it's consistent. It seems that we ask for 3 years of letter grades in other places, so the consistency would be great.
I agree. President Lee?
Yeah, so just my comment is it was actually the same as Dr. Crockett's, and so that was mentioned, and just it can be hard. I don't know who's calling in and who's on a computer, so I just would like to highlight some stuff just for my reasoning, just to be kind of talk about consistency. It does look, if you look at the 2-mile data, that they are outperforming the other schools in their area. That's really important to me when we look at these, to approve these ones that are having some academic questions. The other thing I always like to look at is, again, and the representative alluded to this, is that academic stability. And it does appear that students are making significant gains the longer they stay. And it looks like that was one of your goals, as well as just your overall proficiency has been increasing from FY18 to FY19. So that does make me feel comfortable, just taking into account how the area is performing. That does make me feel comfortable approving this. It sounds like you guys have you had a plan in place to get out of the D. You got the C. So I feel comfortable. Are there any other questions from any of the board members? We'll just kind of maybe wait 5 seconds to have anybody unmute themselves. Okay. If not, is there a motion?
President Lee, it's Carol Crockett. I move, based on the information contained in the board materials presented today, to approve the request to increase the enrollment cap from 650 to 900 for the contract held by the Grande Innovation Academy.
Thank you, Dr. Crockett. Is there a second?
Second, Close.
Thank you, Mr. Close. Alexis?
President Close?
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman?
Aye.
Dr. Crockett?
Aye.
Mr. Mason?
Aye.
Mr. Swanson?
Aye.
Mr. Twist?
Aye.
Ms. Yana?
Aye.
President Lee?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much, board members.
Thank you. All right, moving on, item 6, Rachel.
The Paideia Academies, Inc. has submitted an expansion request to increase its enrollment cap from 1,150 to 1,400 for fiscal year 22. The charter holder was before the board in November when the board approved the charter holder to add a new school to its contract, begin serving grades 9 through 12 in fiscal year 21, which I believe the charter holder has moved to fiscal year 22, and to increase its enrollment cap from 900 to 1,150. The intent of the current request is to accommodate the enrollment growth trajectory and fulfill parent and student requests to continue with the Paideia program through graduation. The charter holder does not meet the staff recommendation because the charter holder's ADM is not within 85% of its current enrollment cap. Additionally, based on past enrollment trends over the last 3 years, the charter holder will not exceed its enrollment cap by fiscal year 20.
And is there a representative?
Yes, this is Victoria.
Hi, Victoria. Thank you for being here. It's Mary Ellen Lee. And if you could just maybe make a couple of comments of kind of why you guys were getting back on the agenda after the last motion was made.
Sure. And first, we really do want to thank you for the initial enrollment cap increase we received of 250 students. We see this as a great start to begin planning our high school opening. So we are back requesting an enrollment cap of 1,400. We are at our capacity in our building, meaning that we'll need to build at another site to accommodate our additional students. Our current kindergarten through 8th grade site holds 900. And although we are operating at about 70% of our ADM of 1,150, we obviously can't hold that many on our campus. So that leaves 250 students to open at a new site. So we are very protective, of our model. We take seriously our task of providing a good choice for our parents and students. And this is something that our parents and students, do want from us. So in trying to provide that school, we want to build a school that will be a model from infrastructure to academics. And so we're requesting more students in order to support this and be fiscally responsible and true to our academic program. So we do want to see our scholars, we don't want to see our scholars leave us and get lost in the system. And we're afraid that as our cohorts come up through our 6th grade program and they enter our middle school and high school program, we'll have to start turning some of our students away because we don't have the space to accommodate them. So
Great.
Yes.
No, thank you for those comments. And again, this is Mary Ellen Lee. With the initial, sorry if you guys can hear that, that's my coffee cleaner cleaning itself. With the initial, how many years of what we already approved would that get you to?
I'm sorry, you were breaking up there a bit, and I'm sorry I couldn't hear all of that.
No problem. With the initial, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. With what we've already approved, how many years do you believe that will get you through? I believe when we initially did it, that was supposed to be the next 3 years. Is that correct? I can't remember.
So on our enrollment projection that we submitted, the 3-year enrollment plan, like by 2023 would be at 1,400.
Right. And can you talk, I just had some concerns with that, just because it seems extremely ambitious. If you could maybe talk about how you plan on recruiting students, and because it looks like I'm going to pull it up right now, but it looks like that you have not only your feeder grades going into your upper grades, but that you also are going to be, with that model, recruiting 2 additional grade levels on top of what comes in from your feeder school. So could you maybe talk about that?
Yeah. So we, of course, we're building from, having 5 classes in our primary grades and build up to 4. So each year our cohorts do move up to 4 grade levels. We go 4 wide starting in 3rd grade up. And so each of those cohorts has shown a history of moving up into the next grade level. We also did an analysis of the K-8 schools around us. We asked, what are they looking for high schools to send their students to? And we did find about 4 of our schools in our area. They said, yeah, we'd love to have a high school in this area to send our students to, you know, a place where they would feel comfortable sending their students to have a quality education in the area. So we, you know, did an analysis of the schools that are in our area, of the cohorts that will move up through our school. We also, you know, have a lot of interest from some of our students who have left us and gone to other high schools who would be interested in coming back and continuing their program at Paideia. So based on those models and based on what we will need in order to actually begin building something, this is why we feel confident in being able to reach those numbers.
Right. And so you mentioned them coming back for your high school, but according to your enrollment matrix, really, so you have just, again, this is hard to do virtual. So you just short version is, you know, kind of 5th and 6th grade, you have projected at best case scenario, you know, kind of 100 students, but then you jump up 7th grade to 150. So this would be getting students to come back 7th grade, which, at least in my experience, is really difficult because a lot of families are wanting to stay K-8 typically within the charter community, which I think this is kind of what we were talking about last time. And just really fast, it's going to be a 2-parter just for time. The other part that was just a little concerning is with this new data, your FACE students, your 3-year FACE students compared to your 1-year FACE students have dropped in both ELA and math. And so I don't know if you want to comment just about, you know, one, the drop in students that are with you for 3 years versus 1 year, as well as, you know, recruiting students starting in 7th grade versus the high school.
Yeah. So we, of course, we have looked at our data and done some analysis on why that might be happening. A lot of that was due to some of our teacher turnover, which we've, you know, really worked to fix, making sure that as our students enter the upper grades, that they have strong math teachers specifically, because we're looking at that number, and teachers who will stay the whole year and not contribute to, you know, to any deficits in the students. So we're working on a mentoring program and our educational coaching program to make sure teachers actually stay and are successful. And so that's, you know, we also decided to have an interventionist per grade level, so that we can more easily target each of our grade levels, especially in math. So we're just putting into place some of these processes that we identified based on our data analysis, as far as why our students have been dropping.
And is there any reason you're needing the enrollment cap just for funding of the new site?
Yes.
Okay. And what's that number? I'm assuming like with bondholders or something like that, they want to see that you have a higher enrollment cap. Is that correct?
That's correct. And I believe our financial consultant is on the line. Is Joel, are you on the line?
Yes, Victoria, I am.
Can you address that?
Sure. Just to provide a little bit of background, the original request for enrollment cap increase was not for just 250 students. It was higher. That enrollment was granted. The cap increase was granted at a lower level than the charter holder had requested originally. Where we're at now, we are out of facility space to really provide much more than an additional classroom or 2 to that enrollment cap increase. So we have to build new facilities in order to fund that project based on what Paideia requires for facilities. The currently granted enrollment cap increase is not sufficient for the capital markets to feel comfortable, you know, getting on the hook for the entire facility and then hoping that we're granted additional increases as we go forward. So it's a bit of a paradox, if you will. We need the enrollment cap increase requested today in order to ensure that the facilities for the expansion can be built.
I see. And is 1,400 the minimum number that would make the bond, whichever route you're going for financing? Is that the bottom number that they're needing?
Yes, ma'am. It is the bottom.
I see. So that's, yeah. So board members, I don't know how you're feeling. I still feel, personally, I still feel a little uncomfortable. I think I have a hard time when students, you know, the 3-year phase students are decreasing in achievement, as well as just going from a 6th grade of kind of 100 to a target of then 7th grade jumping to 150. I still feel uncomfortable with that, but I'd be curious just to see where the other board members are at.
Madam President, I'll go through each board member if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, Vice President Close.
President Lee, I agree with you. I have concern about those FAY numbers. But at this time, I don't know how we can really address that specifically.
Right.
Okay, Superintendent Hoffman, do you have any questions or concerns?
I guess my comment is that it's not the board's responsibility to make sure that their enrollment numbers are meeting the needs of their financiers or the people funding the school. So I just don't want us to feel pressure, is my comment.
Okay, Dr. Crockett.
And I agree with the comments earlier and President Lee's thoughts on this. I just wonder if Padilla could come back later and ask for an increase.
Mr. Mason.
I don't have any comments at this time.
Okay. Mr. Swanson.
Ditto to the other comments, especially Superintendent Hoffman, the financing pressure. And I just also want to just state that we did address this before and the board came up with a number, and now we're back asking for a different number. And, you know, we can go back to the record and see exactly what and why we talked about the number we did before. But I think we're premature on changing it again.
Mr. Twist.
No comments.
Ms. Yanoff.
Yeah, I echo my colleagues' comments. I also have a lot of experience in South Phoenix, and I think that there's a lot of saturation in the market. And so while I very much have done the same things of calling former students and seeing if they'll come back and getting parents excited about the idea, I've found that the idea leading to actuality is pretty different. There's a really interesting phenomenon of what people want for high school. And so I just feel very confident that our first number that we allowed was a financially smart and prudent number, given the fact that it is unknown how many students really will leap out of their current 7th grade and come back, or enroll in the high school at a small campus. So again, I just feel comfortable that what we did the first time was the right number, and I would love to be wrong and have the doors being beaten down, but I think that the market is really strong down there. So I don't feel an urgency to change that.
Okay, and President Lee.
I have no other comments. It sounds like that we might have a motion though. So if someone would like to make a motion, or do
President Lee, before making a motion, might want to ask us if there are any additional questions.
Oh, okay, absolutely. Sorry. Yes, thank you. Are there any additional questions? Okay. Okay, and if not, then is there a motion?
Hans. Idea, let's see. I move based on information contained in the board materials and presented today to deny the request to increase the enrollment cap of the Padilla Academy for the following reasons: that the charter based on trends will not exceed its enrollment cap in FY 2023. Is that enough, or do you want me to add some more?
Ashley, is that okay?
And that is fine. I believe that there are other reasons stated. That is fine, but if that is
Do
sufficient.
you want me to include the FAE, reference to the FAE numbers?
Yeah, I think that would be important, Han. So go ahead and is that.
And based on the fact that the FAE numbers for Paideia have been declining.
Okay, is there a second?
Second, Crockett.
All right, Alexis.
Vice President Close,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
I had a little bit of trouble hearing. Could you repeat the motion one more time, please?
Superintendent Hoffman, the motion, as I understand it, was to deny the request for the additional enrollment cap for the reasons that the school does not meet the ADM requirements as presented in the staff recommendation criteria, and then that the FAE is actually decreasing and not increasing.
Thank you for that clarification. My vote is aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
Mr. Twist,
Aye.
Ms. Yana,
Aye.
President Lee,
Aye.
motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Okay, we are now on to item I, charter renewals, and we did already do item I1, and so we're going to go ahead and move on to item I2 this time for real. Desert Sky Community School, Rachel.
Desert Sky Community School, Inc. submitted a charter renewal application package on January 9th, 2020 to continue operation of Desert Sky Community School. Desert Sky Community School is a Waldorf school that serves grades 3 through 5 in Tucson with a current enrollment cap of 100. As part of the renewal process, staff conducted an academic systems review on, not an on-site visit, through a desk review process due to the school closures. The charter holder was in compliance in all areas. The charter holder currently meets towards academic and operational performance expectations. The charter holder does not meet towards financial performance.
Rachel, can you just say that last statement? I'm sorry, you were breaking up for me. About financial performance. Oh.
The charter holder does not meet the financial performance expectations.
They do not. Okay, thank you. Okay, is there a representative for Desert Sky Community School? If so, if you could unmute yourself at this time.
Yes, this is Shelley Adrian. And I also have today with me Kathy Rex, our board president.
Yes, I'm here.
Great, thank you. And did you, perfect, thank you. And did you want to make any comments? You don't have to, just giving you an opportunity.
I did want to reply to the financial item. That was based on one substantial factor that we started a school lunch program, and getting that started was a lengthy process with some delays, and we ended up self-funding a significant portion of that program, and that accounts for the financial picture in the debt service coverage ratio. I also wanted just to say thank you for the opportunity to work on developing a public Waldorf school. We do serve over 50% of our students are free and reduced lunch eligible, many from homeschool families. So I did want to respond to that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I know that would have come up as a question, so I appreciate that. Just looking at your guys' data as well, it does look like you received an A letter grade, that your FAE students are consistently increasing in both ELA and math as they're with you, as well as you serve and you commented on this, a larger FRL population than your surrounding area. Board members, I feel comfortable with this, but are there any questions? Ashley, maybe go through, just because there was an issue with the financial, if I'd feel more comfortable if maybe you just went through really fast, every board member.
Okay, starting with Vice President Close, do you have any questions?
I don't have any.
Superintendent Hoffman?
Thank you.
Dr. Crockett?
No questions.
Mr. Mason?
Not at this time.
Mr. Swanson?
I'm good for now. Thank you.
Mr. Twist?
Same, I'm good.
Okay. Ms. Yanoff?
I'm great. I just want to say I really appreciate seeing really small school unique models like this to be thoughtful to who they serve and be successful. And I just appreciate all you do.
And President Lee?
Thank you. No further comments. So it sounds, with that, is there a motion?
This is Hans. I move based on a review of the information provided by the representatives of the charter holder, the contents of the application package, to approve the charter renewal package and grant renewal contract to Desert Sky Community School, Inc.
Second.
Thank you. Is there a second? Perfect. Alexis?
Vice President Close,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
Mr. Twist,
Aye.
Ms. Yanoff,
Aye.
President Lee,
Aye.
motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Yep, thanks. All right. Moving on to item I3, Imagine Charter Elementary at Camelback. Rachel.
So President Lee, I'm actually going to introduce items I3 through I6 all together because they're all part of the same network. And then the charter, I believe, is also going to follow a similar format as they come forward.
Okay, and Rachel, are we allowed to, if there's a question about one school, then we can just do that motion separately if we needed to, just so board members are aware of how that would work?
So I believe from speaking with the charter, I believe what they would like to do is kind of do a general overview of who they are as Imagine Schools, and then they're going to have each school leader address you for each individual agenda item.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Does that work for you?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Imagine Schools has submitted 4 charter renewal application packages. These include the renewal of 4 charters, which have the following schools. Imagine Camelback Elementary, serving grades K-5 in Phoenix with a current enrollment cap of 568. Imagine Desert West Elementary, serving grades K-5 in Phoenix with a current enrollment cap of 960. Imagine East Mesa Middle, serving grades 7 through 8 in Mesa with a current enrollment cap of 319. And Imagine Surprise Middle, serving grades 6 through 8 in Surprise with a current enrollment cap of 425. Each of these charters had on-site academic systems review visits in which specific areas of the charter contract were reviewed. They have submitted the required documentation to bring these issues into compliance. Each of these charters meets the board's operational and financial performance expectations. Each of these charters also meets the board's academic performance expectations, with the exception of Imagine Charter Elementary at Desert West, Inc., which did receive a D letter grade in fiscal year 2019. I'm available for questions if you have any.
Board members, are there any questions at this time? We'll wait a few seconds for you to unmute yourself. Okay, if not, Imagine if you would like to unmute yourself at this time and go in the order that you guys have determined, that would be great.
Morning, President Lee and members of the board. First of all, we want to thank you for the opportunity to share our story as we begin our discussions regarding our charter renewals. It's hard to believe that we have schools that have been in existence in Arizona now for 15 years. It seems like it was just yesterday when I was working with Dr. Nancy Hall to submit many of these charters. Imagine Schools, in partnership with our board, serves more than 9,000 students on 13 campuses here in Arizona. We serve a unique purpose in our communities and strive for excellence in all we do. Nearly 65% of the children we serve qualify for free or reduced meals, and all of our schools are accredited with advanced ed. I marvel at the amount of growth that has taken place within Imagine Schools since we began serving families in Arizona in 2001. For me, this is a symbol of what is happening in the lives of our students and the families we serve. Learning is coming alive for our students. Growth is taking place. Transformation is happening, one child and one life at a time. I'm the first one to tell you today that there is much more work for us all to do. But I look at where our teachers, school leaders, students, boards, our entire group of stakeholders began, and I see the progress that we've made. It's a good foundation, one that will support greater growth and future success. It's my hope and desire that we continue to partner together. Renewing the school's charters means providing increased academic growth for students and supporting the educational choice made by families in their schools.
Board members, this is Brad Uchas for the record as well. Just I'd like to add that much like a traditional public school district, getting a little feedback here, son. Imagine has an organizational structure comprised of regional teams that provide operational and academic supports to schools beyond the leadership at each site. Our Southwest team is comprised of 2 executive vice presidents, 4 regional directors, 2 regional academic directors, and a multitude of support team members. Systemically builds the collective capacity of leaders, promoting the culture of excellence as identified in each one of our schools' excellence plans. The cycle of support for our schools from our system is created by the regional team and includes providing ongoing high-quality professional development, establishing evidence-based research practices in all content areas, developing pacing guides at each grade level and aligning benchmarks to our pacing guides, promoting coherent and aligned cycles of observation, feedback with all site leadership teams, supporting our school's excellent plans and the cycle of support specific for each school, and in our current context, providing guidelines for our schools as they provide continuous remote learning opportunities during school closures prompted by the coronavirus. In general, our regional team fosters conversations to support optimal learning cycles across our schools. We are steadfast in our continuous reflection to determine where our cycles are most effective and where we can improve. We recognize that we have some work left to do at all of our schools. It is a cycle of continuous support. We do take our school and our student success very seriously. Every year we will dive into our root cause analysis and determine what we did that worked and what we did that needs to improve. Recognizing that we are not there yet, and we will continue to strive to get better. Thank you for giving our teachers and students a chance to continue the hard work and progress they have made. What we're going to do here is we're going to try to cycle through our schools with proper social distancing. And so we'll invite Camelback.
All right, and go for it. Members of Camelback, if you'd like to state your name for the records and any statements that you've prepared, and thank you for just being here and having to deal with social distancing. We really appreciate all the effort you guys clearly went through. Thanks so much.
Good morning, Madam President. My name is Freddie Villalon.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Matt Gehrman, one of the regional academic directors.
Good morning. I'm Heidi Lindsay, one of the regional directors.
Good morning. I'm Kathy Patton, the assistant principal.
Madam President, good morning, Madam President, community members, Superintendent Hoffman, and guests. I'd like to thank you for your commitment to serving our children of Arizona, and specifically the children at our amazing school, Imagine Camelback. Imagine Camelback has been in operation for 15 years. We're a Title I K-8 school. We're on the corner of 19th Avenue and Camelback, highest crime rate in the whole state of Arizona. 100% of our children eat for free. We've been in operation for 15 years, and we offer the core academic classes, including art, PE, and technology. We have a 21st century program that services over 200 children. We have an honor guard, a ballet folklorico, and even year-round soccer. We have a partnership with GCU that we're very proud of. And on Saturdays, our children receive one-on-one tutoring at the campus of GCU, and we love that partnership. In addition, we also have the support of Kitchen in the Streets, and they provide meals for over 100 children and families every weekend, and we love, again, that partnership. We also have a partnership with St. Mary's Food Bank, Operation School Bell, and even the Phoenix Suns and the Salvation Army. We are a C school right now, but back in 2011, we were labeled an A school by the Arizona Department of Education. We had the highest growth on the state assessment in 2011 in reading and mathematics. Unfortunately, about the same time, we lost our SIG grant, and then we also lost our academic footing. At that point in 2017, when I had first arrived, we were labeled an NR school, NR grade. Our enrollment, though, has blossomed to over 500 elementary children. We currently have a C grade. Our ELL count has doubled, and one of the things that we're very proud of is the fact that we're above the state average on AZ merit when it comes to our ELL assessment results on the AZ merit, and we're past all of the surrounding schools as well, and we are very proud of that fact. Our team at Imagine Countback, we use a school excellence plan to improve our academic results, to provide better core instruction and strategic interventions. We're very data-driven, and we have those difficult conversations that we need to have with our teachers to help them drive instruction and to move our academics to the next academic level. Our minimally proficient third graders has gone down every year, and we've been a C for the last couple of years. Most importantly, we always do what's best interest of our children. In closing, at Imagine Camelback, we believe in our hearts that one teacher can educate a child and one child can change the world. So let's please work together to change this world of ours, one child at a time. Thank you for your time, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Ashley, if you could go through to see if the board members have any questions for this team.
Vice President Close.
None.
Superintendent Hoffman.
Thank you.
Dr. Crockett.
No, thank you.
Mr. Mason.
No, thanks.
Mr. Swanson.
I'm all good, thank you.
Mr. Twist.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Ms. Yanoff.
No, thank you. Or I'm good, or whatever the right response is. I'm happy.
And President Lee.
I just have one question. Could you maybe talk about, and you mentioned this, that you see that there's some room for improvement. You also mentioned some of the amazing things that you guys are doing for your targeted area. I just had a concern just about the performance level in the surrounding community, that 2 mile. What are some of the things that you're doing specifically? I know you said you just recently in the last couple of years came on the team just to get back to that, 2011 growth. Could you just give me just a couple, just 1 or 2 specific things that you guys are doing to kind of get back those growth scores?
One of the things that we're doing is we're making sure we're hiring and recruiting and retaining the highly qualified, highly motivated teachers to get the best academic results. We were 100% sure if we would have taken the state assessment this year, we would have had phenomenal growth in our math scores. Our ELA would have went up a little bit as well. So we're recruiting those highly qualified, certified teachers that are making a difference for our children. We're also providing lots of interventions for the children. We have programs before school, after school, on Saturdays as well. We also going to look at implementing this year a 6-week summer school program to keep our kids really focused on academics. But most importantly, we make sure we develop a positive relationship and provide those teachers the support they need to keep them. If you have the top quality teachers staying at your school, you're going to show the growth academically. That's what happened in 2011. We had the top performing teachers. I was able to come back in 2017, and we're recruiting and looking for the best supporting teachers to help our kids take it to the next academic level. So teachers are the key. If you could retain, motivate, and encourage those highly qualified teachers to stay, you're going to show the growth. And of course, you have to have those difficult conversations with those teachers that are not moving children academically, and then make those difficult decisions. But I feel that at Madison Calback, we are definitely have that momentum, and we're going to continue doing what's in the best interest of our children, our families, and of course, our community.
Okay. No, thank you so much for that response. I really appreciate it. Board members, are there any other comments or questions for this charter? We'll just wait, 5 seconds or so to let people unmute if they need to. Okay. With that, is there a motion?
Motion for charter for Camelback.
Sorry, Ashley, we are doing each motion item separately. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Hans.
All right, this is Hans. I move based on a review of the information provided by the representatives of the charter holder and the contents of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant a renewal contract to Imagine Charter Elementary at Camelback, Inc.
Is there a second?
Second, Crockett.
Thank you, Dr. Crockett and Alexis. If you could do the roll call.
President Close.
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman.
Aye.
Dr. Crockett.
Aye.
Mr. Swanson, or I'm sorry, Mr. Mason.
Aye.
Sorry about that. Mr. Swanson.
Aye.
Mr. Twist.
Aye.
Ms. Yanoff.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right. Thank you guys for being here, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All
God
right.
bless.
Thanks. We'll go ahead and let them safely change members, and then we will hear from the next representative when they're ready. I believe it's Desert West is the next one up. All right. If you guys, whenever you guys are ready, feel free to introduce yourselves and make a statement if you'd like.
Bill Heitz, Principal, Imagine Desert West.
I'm Heather Love. I'm the Dean of Academics for Imagine Desert West Elementary.
April Blatzheim, Regional Director for Imagine Desert West Elementary.
And Jason Archuleta, Regional Director for Imagine Schools.
Great. Thank you so much for being here. Did you guys, go for it.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Madam President and board members, for permitting me to be here today. I am Bill Heitz, the proud principal of Imagine Desert West Elementary for the last 10 years. I am joined by Heather Love, our Dean of Academic, who has been with the school for the past 4 years. Established in 2006, our school is located in the West Valley of Phoenix near the busy intersection of 67th Avenue and McDowell. We are a Title I school, educating students in grades K through 5. Of our approximately 880 students, 29% are EL students, 6% receive special education services, and 100% of our students qualify for free breakfast and lunch. In 2019, we reclassified our, excuse me, this right here. Got it. Went off my iPad there. For 14 years, Imagine Desert West received a B or C state letter grade. Despite our ongoing efforts throughout the year, we unfortunately received a D last year. We immediately met as a team to conduct a root cause analysis to identify all possible factors contributing to the change. However, before we discuss the results of our analysis, let me identify our strengths and successes. In 2019, we reclassified our EL students at a percent exceeding the state average, and EL growth surpassed the state average as well. Imagine Desert West was recognized as a 2017 State and National School of Character. That same year, we received the Arizona Result-Based Funding as our students participating in a federal free and reduced lunch program scored in the top 10% statewide on AZ Merit. We academically outperformed many of the surrounding schools over the past 4 years. We've established wonderful connections and partnerships with our families, evident by the high attendance at school events and the 75% participation rate in our academic parent-teacher team meetings, APTT. We have a current re-enrollment rate of 95%. Parents continue to choose us despite 70 other schools within a 5-mile of our campus. Parent and student surveys report a 95% satisfaction rate with our school. From our initial analysis, we determined contributing factors that contribute to the results. In 2018, we transferred our school model. Our new middle school was built next door, and we went from a K-8 campus to a K-5 campus. The result was a huge culture shift in the school. Our strong leadership team was divided between the two campuses. Our enrollment increased by 387 students. 172 of those were new expected kindergarten students, and the other 215 students entered grades 1st through 5th. Only 25% of its teaching staff in grades 3 through 5 are retained. This is different from our normal retention rate of 80% for the entire school. To support the new teachers in 5th, we departmentalized the grade team. Yet despite responding quickly to data and teacher effectiveness issue, during the year, both internal and external resources, the 5th grade cohort was the weakest performer on AZ Merit overall, contributing to the letter grade decline. As a result of our root cause analysis, the following are some of the actions in place to address the issues and improve our performance. We've determined the need for a more vigorous and progressive curriculum to address the AZ state standards. We experienced the common implementation dip of new curriculums compounded by the effects of newly hired teachers learning the practice. We incorporate a more competitive hiring practice. Together with our tiered level of coaching, this year we have a 77% teacher retention rate in grades 3 through 5. We implemented the new integrated SEI block model. Prior to the COVID-19 data, we saw positive trends in data, which we can share with you today if you would like to review it. We are confident we have determined the key factors that led to the current letter grade and continue to work on our solutions to address these concerns. We're asking the board for time to achieve our goals by approving our charter renewal request. Doing so will allow us to close our gaps and continue to be a school of choice for nearly 900 students and their families. Thank you for your time, and we'd be happy to answer questions.
Thank you for that statement. Board members, are there any questions? Ashley, if you could go do the roll call with that, please.
Vice President Close.
No questions.
Superintendent Hoffman.
Oh, thank you.
Dr. Crockett.
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Mason.
No questions.
Mr. Swanson.
No questions.
Mr. Twist.
I'm good.
Ms. Yanoff.
No questions, thank you. But I do appreciate, just want to say out loud that you are taking very seriously the letter grade decline, and I appreciate the deep analysis you've done to identify why and how. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
President Lee.
Yeah, I just want to, echo Rachel's comments. I do appreciate that it looks like you guys really have looked at that data, and I understand what a culture shift kind of splitting a campus can do. I'm a little concerned just because of the, if you look at that, especially that 2-mile radius, the percentage of schools that are currently outperforming, are in the 75, 83, 92%, as well as, let me just scroll up for 1 second. Just that stability proficiency. Students, 1 year FAE are just under 37% for ELA, and then they go to about 35.5%. They go from 40.5% to 38%. So there is that. It's minimal, but it's definitely a decline. And that to me is when we look at this is really the most concerning. And while I don't think we should deny the renewal, Ashley, I am curious. It's hard because we're in a year where we're not really getting letter grades. You guys will keep your D next year. I'm assuming if I understand that correctly. So you won't really have a chance to show us the data that you talked about. Ashley, would it be? I'd like to recommend that board staff go out for a targeted visit and then report back to the board, just because we won't really have a good sense of their data. Is that something that the board can do?
Presently, that is definitely something that board staff can do. We do have a process to go out to schools and visit them through a targeted visit, and we will be happy to do that and then report back to the board.
Okay, yeah, that would just make me feel more comfortable just with that D letter grade, just to see. But it sounds like you guys are implementing so many things, and so that the site visit will go well, and you'll have lots of great things, to show board staff. Board members, are there any other comments? We'll go ahead and give you guys 5 seconds or so to unmute if you have any other comments or questions, as well as the charter holder if you have any comments or questions. Okay. And with that, is there a motion?
This is Hans. I move based on a review of the information provided by the representatives of the charter holder and the contents of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant a renewal contract to Imagine Charter Elementary at Desert West Incorporated.
Is there a second? Thank you, Hans.
Second, Crockett.
Thank you, Dr. Crockett. And Alexis.
President Close.
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman.
Aye.
Dr. Crockett.
Aye.
Mr. Mason.
Aye.
Mr. Swanson.
Aye.
Mr. Twist.
Aye.
Ms. Yanoff.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and we will go ahead and give, it looks like Imagine East Mesa, I believe, is up next. Yep, Imagine Middle East Mesa. So we'll give them a second to transition safely. Great. And whenever you guys are ready, no rush, but whenever you're ready, go ahead and state all of your names for the record. And if you have a statement you'd like to make, feel free to do so at that time.
Introduce yourself first.
Hi, my name is Dr. Melinda Heshe. I'm the principal of Imagine East Mesa.
I'm Jason Archuleta, Regional Director for Imagine Schools.
April Blatzheim, Regional Director, Imagine Schools.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam President, and the board members for giving us the opportunity to share about our schools this morning. My name is Dr. Melinda Heshe, and I'm the proud principal of Imagine East Mesa. Imagine East Mesa is a pre-K through 8th grade campus in the Imagine Schools family. The 7th and 8th grades make up the Imagine Middle at East Mesa Charter, which is being considered for renewal today. Imagine East Mesa, with the letter grade of a B, is a Title I school surrounded by Apache Junction, Gilbert, and East Mesa communities serving a population of students that is 50% minority and nearly 60% free and reduced student population. Our mission at Imagine East Mesa revolves around 3 focus areas of academics, character, and leadership, as outlined in our School Excellence Plan. Our school leaders, coaches, and teachers work together to support our community with weekly PLC meetings that include analyzing data, grade level planning meetings, and supports from our regional team with professional development and planning. The moment you walk in the door, our students and families are welcomed into a positive environment that accounts for each student's individual needs. Our students spend the day in warm, caring environments that focus not only on academics, but also character and leadership. We offer a rigorous curriculum aligned with Arizona state standards. Over the last few years, Imagine East Mesa Middle School has adopted and utilized the Engage New York English Language Arts curriculum for reading and writing. Our teachers use this curriculum as a key resource in teaching the Arizona state standards. One additional strategy implemented this year has been a program called RISE that has provided small group and one-on-one support for students focusing on reading and writing skills, holding students accountable for work completion and quality of work. For math, we utilize the Eureka Math curriculum. Both middle school math teachers have attended extensive training over the last couple of years, utilizing this curriculum in connection with state standards. This year, we made an additional change to the math program by splitting up our 8th grade classes between our 8th grade math teacher and our math specialist, providing small class sizes for our 8th graders. With the change in science and social studies standards, our teachers have worked with other campus teachers, regional staff, and local experts to utilize a variety of resources to meet the standards and needs of our students. Consistent ongoing professional development and collaboration across the Imagine Schools Southwest region has supported the middle school teachers to teach these new standards. Students also have a daily technology class that supports ELA math content while providing students the tools necessary to be ready for high school. Middle school students have additional opportunities in sports, the National Junior Honor Society, and end-of-year trips that provide tradition and culminate each school year by providing students with the opportunities they may not have without the ongoing support from our school and local community. As a national school of character, we encourage our students to support one another, work together, and lead their own path with parent and teacher support by exemplifying our imagined shared values of justice, integrity, and fun. Throughout the years, we have established strong community relationships that have allowed our students to grow to meet their leadership potential. Activities like Love Our Community Day and involvement with our very own Giving Gang give students an opportunity to give back to the community that has supported them over the years. We are proud of the hard work happening at Imagine East Mesa Middle School, but there's still room for improvement, and we look forward to continuing our growth and providing support to our students and families of East Mesa. Thank you again for your time here today.
Great, thank you so much. Ashley, if you'll go through the board members to see if there are any questions or comments.
Vice President Close.
Nothing.
Superintendent Hoffman.
No, thank you.
Dr. Crockett.
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Mason.
None at this time.
Mr. Swanson.
Nothing for me, thanks.
Mr. Twist.
Same.
Ms. Yanoff.
No questions, thank you.
President Lee.
No, just commenting a little bit on the data. You know, you guys have over 21% more FRL than within the 2-mile radius, and you're still kind of meeting those academic performance measures. And so I really appreciate the effort and all of that, as well as it's just good to see that stability proficiency. I'm going to go back to that a lot because I just think it's so important to see that students are continuing to grow and do better, you know, with the 2 years that they're with you. So I appreciate that. So with that, is there a motion?
President Lee, this is Hans. I move based on a review of the information provided by the representatives of the charter holder and the contents of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant a renewal contract to Imagine Middle at East Mesa Incorporated.
Thank you. Is there a second? Oh, perfect. Thank you, Dr. Crockett. Alexis?
Vice President Close.
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman.
Aye.
Dr. Crockett.
Aye.
Mr. Mason.
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
Mr. Twist,
Aye.
Ms. Yanov,
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimous.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. We will go ahead and welcome the Imagine Middle at Surprise Inc. team. When you guys are ready, go ahead and state your name for the record and any statement that you would like to make for the board.
All right, good morning, and thank you to our board members for the opportunity to share our school with you today. My name is Chris McComb, and I'm the school leader of Imagine Prep Surprise. Imagine Prep opened in 2008. We're located in the heart of Surprise in the West Valley, just a few blocks from our beautiful new City Hall and the Royals and Rangers spring training facilities. We hold both a middle and high school charter under one roof. And today I'm going to highlight our middle school charter serving approximately 400 students in grades 6 through 8. As you may know, Surprise is a rapidly growing area and a highly competitive environment for school choice. There's not only a number of robust public schools, but an increasing amount of charter schools as well. With the area becoming saturated with school choice opportunities, we've been able to grow and maintain student enrollment and achievement, proving that our students and parents are committed to our vision of college, career, and life readiness. Our middle school has a letter grade of a B, and our 1819 AZ merit proficiency data is above state average in all grade levels in both reading and math. I will note that our school uses a curriculum from Cambridge Assessment International Education. Several other schools in Surprise offer this curriculum, most as advanced or honors type of program. Because it's a high quality, skill-based curriculum that aligns to clear outcomes and end of course exams and can be modified and accommodated like any other curriculum, we offer it school-wide. Although academics is a large portion of what we do, we believe that educating the whole child is paramount in creating opportunities after high school and beyond. Character.org has recognized us as a National School of Character, and the Arizona Department of Education has identified us as the Arizona Civic School of Distinction. We have a robust extracurricular and athletic programs that emphasize integrity, leadership, and community service. We see ourselves as a contributing member of our community, and because of this, we prioritize community partnerships. Our largest academic partners include the National Center for Education and the Economy and the Center for the Future of Arizona. Both have been instrumental through thought partners for our Cambridge implementation. We also host many local HOAs, several churches, a local soccer club, a Girl Scout troop, and a variety of other groups who use our facilities or partner with us on local projects. In addition, the majority of our fundraising efforts support organizations near and dear to our students' hearts. The list is expansive, but we find it imperative for our students to learn the importance of service and community engagement and awareness. Through our comprehensive school excellence plan needs assessment, we've identified a focus area on our bottom quartile and our special education populations. As you can see in our packet, special education students make up approximately 17% of our student population. We feel an urgency to grow their scores in both reading and math. This year, we have totally revamped our title program. The program now features more frequent and more specific interventions that include both before and after school support, in-school targeted support, and school-wide intervention and enrichment programs. I've been very pleased with this new program and a little disappointed that we won't be able to have test data this year to measure the program's success. However, we've seen pockets of improvement from our benchmark data, as well as a lot of qualitative improvements, such as teacher perceptions around student efficacy and increases in traditional grade performances. I am pleased with our increased intentionality here and look forward to continuing and expanding this work moving forward. Finally, I have to say that we have one of the greatest collections of staff members I could ask for. Our culture is collaborative and caring, and teacher retention is superb. We rally around mantras such as all means all and all paddles in the water. With this staff, our potential is limitless. I'm happy to answer any questions from our board members about our school, and thank you so much for your time.
Awesome, thank you. Ashley, if you could go through the board members, please, for questions or comments.
Vice President Close.
I have no questions or comments. Thanks.
Superintendent Hoffman.
No question, thank you.
Dr. Crockett.
None, thank you.
Mr. Mason.
No, not at this time, thanks.
Mr. Swanson.
No questions.
Mr. Twist,
Same, no questions.
Ms. Yanov,
I'm good. Thanks so much.
President Lee.
No questions. Thank you. Alexis, if you, oh, is there a motion?
President Lee, this is Hans.
Okay.
We're doing surprise, right?
Yes, sir.
I move based on a review of the information provided by the representatives of the charter holder and the contents of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant a renewal contract to Imagine Middle and Surprise Incorporated.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Crockett. Alexis.
Vice President Close,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
Mr. Twist,
Aye.
Ms. Yanov,
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Congratulations, guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, and it looks like that's actually it for Imagine. Okay. So moving on to item agenda 7, Legacy Traditional School at Maricopa. Rachel, you are up.
Legacy Traditional School Maricopa submitted a charter renewal application package on January 28th, 2020 to continue operation of Legacy Traditional School. Legacy Traditional School serves grades K through 8 in Maricopa with a current enrollment cap of 3,590. As part of the renewal process, staff conducted an on-site academic systems review at Legacy Traditional School on March 2020. During the academic systems review, specific areas of the charter contract were reviewed to ensure the charter holder was in compliance. The charter holder was informed that it needed to provide teaching background and experience information for instructional staff. The charter holder brought this area into compliance on April 29th of 2020. The charter holder was also informed that it needed to provide updated enrollment documentation, updated instructional schedules, verify 2 recesses in grades K through 5, and updated instructional schedules to verify compliance with Move On One reading requirements. The charter holder brought each of these areas into compliance on April 30th of 2020. The charter holder was also informed that it needed to provide updated occupancy documentation. On May 7th, the charter holder provided a fire marshal report demonstrating compliance in that area. However, the charter holder has until May 14th of 2020 to provide appropriate certificates of occupancy for the school. The charter holder currently meets the board's academic, operational, and financial performance expectations.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Is there a representative from Legacy Maricopa? If so, go ahead. Oh, there we are.
Good morning, President and members of the board. My name is Anastasia Hawkins. I'm our Director of Compliance here at Vertex Management, the management company for all of the Legacy Traditional Schools. Today, I have with me our Deputy Superintendent for Legacy Traditional School Maricopa, Rebecca Baker, as well as our Superintendent for all of our schools, Nicole Kirkley. We are here this morning and we're happy to answer any questions you guys might have. We're really proud of our Legacy Traditional School Maricopa campus because that was our first school that we opened and have an A letter grade, but we're happy with questions you might have.
Yeah, could you just speak to not being in compliance? These seem to be pretty basic requirements for charter schools that were identified. And so talk to me about, maybe why you're out of compliance, what you're doing to ensure that that doesn't happen again, and then as well as where we're at with that certificate of occupancy.
Sure, we'd be happy to. So I think that a majority of the items that were identified during the site visit, including things like teacher schedules, it was actually just typos or minor issues with how the schedules were formatted. So once we were able to review those and make those edits and changes, those came into compliance pretty quickly. So those items, I would say, were a little bit more minor. The enrollment packet was something that was reviewed when I started here, and we made some changes. What was provided was an older version, but the only remaining item that was left on there was language that we were asked to include to be very clear about the fact that we don't require immunizations during that process. However, there wasn't language included in the enrollment packet that said that it was required. So again, I don't think that was necessarily out of compliance. We just added that language to make it more clear for families, because obviously we want to make sure that they understand that what we're doing is correct and that we're not asking for things that aren't required. And then the C of O is something that the school is working on right now. That building was previously just an administrative building, and they had students that were included in one of the offices that they transformed into a pull-out room for services. Ever since the site visit, they have not had any students in that room, and they've been working with the district and the county to make sure that they can get the correct C of O. The one they have right now is actually A occupancy, which we've been told is above E occupancy, but we are working with them to make sure we get the E occupancy, just to make sure that it's really clear that we can serve students in that building.
All right, thank you so much for that. Board members, Ashley, if you'll go through the roll call, please, see if there's any questions or comments.
Vice President Close.
No questions.
Superintendent Hoffman.
No, thank you.
Dr. Crockett.
None, thanks.
Mr. Mason.
None, thanks.
Mr. Swanson.
Nothing here.
Mr. Twist.
All good, thanks.
Ms. Yanoff.
I'm good, thanks.
President Lee.
No other comments. Thank you, Ashley. With that, is there a motion?
President Lee, this is Hans. I move based on a review of the information provided by the representatives of the charter holder and the contents of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant a renewal contract for Legacy Traditional School, Maricopa.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Crockett. Alexis?
Vice President Close,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson, Mr. Swanson, Mr. Twist, Mr. Twist,
Sorry, yes.
Ms. Yanoff,
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you guys for being here, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, it looks like we have our last renewal. Villa Montessori and Rachel, if you would like to, you're up.
The end of the Rachel show. Okay. Via Montessori Inc. submitted a charter renewal application package on February 2nd, 2020 to continue operation of Via Montessori Phoenix. Via Montessori Phoenix serves grades K through 8 in Phoenix with a current enrollment cap of 600. As part of the renewal process, staff conducted an on-site academic systems review visit at Via Montessori Phoenix on February 13th of 2020. During the academic systems review, specific areas of the charter contract are reviewed to ensure a charter holder is in compliance. The charter holder was informed that it needed to provide updated enrollment documents and made that simple fix and brought this area into compliance on February 18th of 2020. The charter holder currently meets the board's academic, operational, and financial performance expectations.
All right, thanks so much, Rachel. And is there a representative from Via Montessori here? If so, if you could please unmute yourself, state your name for the record, and if you have any statement, now's the time if you'd like.
Hi, good morning. I'm Martha O'Neill, principal of Villa Montessori School, and with me is our elementary director, Christy. I would just like to say that Villa was part of the first group of schools granted a charter back in 1995. And so for the past 25 years, we have tremendous gratitude for being part of the school choice landscape in Arizona. And thank you all for considering the renewal of our contract.
Great. Board members, or Ashley, if you would go through and see if there's any questions or comments from the board members, please.
Vice President Close.
No questions.
Superintendent Hoffman.
Thank you.
Dr. Crockett.
No questions.
Mr. Mason.
I'm good for now, thanks.
Mr. Swanson.
No, thanks.
Mr. Twist.
Nope.
Ms. Yanoff.
Hi, sorry, lots of kid action in the background. I just want to say I have no questions other than I just want to give a compliment that I appreciate the ability to create a really, unique small school. Montessori doesn't always match up with things like state standards really well, at least in the way they're written, and you've done a really great job in all of the review documents to make something that is truly meeting all the needs for the kiddos and the model. So I just, again, want to reiterate, I appreciate small schools that are doing hard stuff. So thanks.
Thank you.
And President Lee.
Yeah, just to echo Rachel's comments, I just appreciate what you guys are doing. I mean, the fact that you guys have an A, your FAE scores are incredible for increase. And I just really, I wish that there were more charter Montessoris. Feel free to open up a location in Gilbert. So just kidding. Okay, so with that, no other comments. Is there a motion?
Thank you, President Lee.
President Lee, this is Hans. I move based on a review of the information provided by the representative of the charter holder and the contents of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant a renewal contract to Villa Montessori Incorporated.
And is there a second?
Second, Crockett.
And Alexis.
Vice President Close.
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman.
Aye.
Dr. Crockett.
Aye.
Mr. Mason.
Aye.
Mr. Swanson.
Aye.
Mr. Twist.
Aye.
Ms. Yanoff.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, guys, good job. We are on item J, letter grade consent agreement. Ashley, you have some comments for us.
Okay. So this consent agreement is coming back to the board for consideration. Originally, it was in front of the board at its February 10th, 2020 board meeting to require the schools assigned a letter grade of F in 2019 to demonstrate improved academic achievement through the assignment of a letter grade other than F for the next 3 consecutive years. On March 27th, 2020, HB 2910 was signed into law by the governor of Arizona, and it canceled all statewide assessments required by statute. And for FY 2020, the schools would not receive a new letter grade, but instead would be utilizing their FY19 letter grade. Due to this emergency legislation, board staff is proposing changes to the agreement to address the provisions in HB 2910 to the state assessment and accountability for FY 2020. The proposed changes provide that the charter holder has the opportunity to demonstrate improved academic achievement by earning a letter grade other than F for the next 3 years. Additionally, if at any time during the next 3 years, the school is not assigned a letter grade because the state is not offering letter grades or not issuing out letter grades, the charter holder agrees to extend the duration of the agreement by 1 fiscal year for each fiscal year that letter grades are not assigned. The main reason this is coming back to you is just to ensure consistency with all of our schools. I think the board in the past couple of years has really tried to make sure that all charters know what the expectation is and to ensure that we are consistently treating all schools the same and that schools know what we're going to expect of them. So what ended up happening by not having letter grades issued for FY 2020, schools would be only held to a 2-year accountability rather than 3 years of accountability. So going forward, and not only for this upcoming year, but continuing on to the next couple fiscal years, what we would like to see and what board staff is proposing in front of you is that all schools, no matter what, are held to 3 years of statewide accountability. So if the state does not issue letter grades for 1 year, then that agreement will continue for another year, just to ensure, again, that we have 3 years of academic accountability. I will pull up some suggested changes on the screen here. You will see over the weekend we did receive a comment just to clarify some timing issues. So it's a little small, but I think if you can scroll in, what is included in paragraphs 13 and 14 is that parents will be provided of notice and closure within 30 days of receiving the board's notice that they received an F and that they will need to surrender. And then after that 30-day time period, then the school has 15 days to provide evidence that that information was provided to their parents and students. So we just wanted to clarify some timing issues, and quite frankly, this makes it much easier for charters. But we, again, wanted to be fair and provide the most reasonable amount of time. With that, President Lee, I'm more than happy to answer questions.
No, thank you, Ashley. And I just, again, want to commend you guys. You responded extremely quickly to everything that's going on and had this, ready for us at this board meeting. And I just really appreciate that. And just to be clear, because it's my understanding that schools are technically getting issued a letter grade. Is that correct? It's just going to be the same letter grade that they had last year. So that would not count in this instance, correct?
That is correct. So we've been very, very clear with schools that are currently under consent agreements. If they received, consent agreements, so this FY 2020 is somewhat of a wash for them. And knowing that going forward, we want to make sure that we hold 3 years of accountability. So if a school did receive a D in FY 19, that will still be their letter grade for FY 20. But if schools received an F in FY 19, they will not be up for closure in this current school year for having the FY 19 F letter grade continued on to FY 20.
Perfect. Okay. No, thank you. I really appreciate this. And I think it's important we stay consistent with the 3 years of accountability. So Ashley, if you'll go through to see if any other board members have any questions or comments about this.
Okay. Vice President Close.
No questions.
Superintendent Hoffman.
Also, no questions, but also want to commend board staff for putting this together. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Crockett.
Thank you. No questions.
Okay. Mr. Mason.
No questions.
Mr. Swanson.
No questions.
Mr. Twist.
Same, no questions.
Ms. Yanoff.
I'm good. Thank you very much for all this hard work.
President Lee.
All right. And if there are no additional questions, it sounds like there's not. Is there a motion?
President Lee, this is Hans. I move that the board adopt the revisions to the letter grade consent agreement as presented to the board today and found in the materials for today's board meeting, and direct staff to make necessary changes to other documents to reflect the board's action at this meeting.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Close. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Perfect. Dr. Crockett. Alexis?
Vice President Close.
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman.
Aye.
Dr. Crockett.
Aye.
Mr. Mason.
Aye.
Mr. Swanson.
Aye.
Mr. Twist.
Aye.
Ms. Yanoff.
Aye.
President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to item K, audit guidelines and compliance questionnaires. Andrea, you're up.
All right. Administrative rule requires the board by July 1st of each year to make available on its website written requirements regarding the audit each charter is required by law to submit annually. Pursuant to rule, the board must release the written requirements, also referred to as the audit documents, for the fiscal year 2020 audits by July 1st, 2020. The audit documents include the audit guidelines, legal compliance questionnaire, Uniform System of Financial Records for Charter Schools, or USFRCS compliance questionnaire, and procurement compliance questionnaire. Appendix A of the staff report details the changes proposed by staff to the audit guidelines for fiscal year 2020, which include clarifying and technical changes. Based on feedback from the fiscal year 2019 audit cycle, staff has reached out to ADE to determine if changes are necessary regarding which charter audits ADE receives and how they receive them. Staff proposes the board incorporate in the fiscal year 2020 audit guidelines any changes received from ADE by June 23rd regarding charter audit submissions to ADE. State law gives the Office of the Auditor General, or OAG, the responsibility to establish a method to audit school districts and charter schools' average daily membership. State law also gives the OAG the responsibility to establish a method to audit schools' compliance with procurement practices. Last month, the OAG notified staff that changes will be made to condense the current number of procurement questions, and that the OAG and ADE are considering changes focused on condensing the current number of student attendance reporting questions. In light of COVID-19's impact on school operations, the OAG and ADE will also be issuing an addendum that provides guidance for auditors on what to look for and how to go about their testing. As noted in the staff report, prior to this meeting, staff reached out to 3 audit firms that combined represent more than 85% of the fiscal year 2020 audit engagements approved so far with a November deadline, and whose clients range from mom and pop charter holders to charter networks. All 3 audit firms indicated that as the summer progresses, they will have a better idea of how requirements and guidelines in place due to COVID-19 will affect schools' ability to prepare for the audits and audit firms' ability to issue the audit. Based on these conversations, staff is currently not proposing a change to the November 15th deadline, but will continue to monitor the situation and as necessary update the board. Any extension to the November 15th audit deadline would be considered by the board at a public meeting. Since the board does not plan to meet in June, staff is asking the board today to 1, approve the fiscal year 2020 audit guidelines and direct staff to incorporate into those guidelines any changes received from ADE by June 23rd regarding charter audit submissions to ADE. 2, to direct staff to incorporate the OAG and ADE student attendance reporting and procurement changes available by June 23rd into the board's legal, USFRCS, and procurement compliance questionnaires. And 3, to direct staff to distribute to charter holders and their audit firms the addendum issued by the OAG and ADE that provides guidance for auditors on what to look for and how to go about testing in light of COVID-19. If available by June 23rd, the addendum will be released with the fiscal year 2020 audit documents. If the addendum is not available by June 23rd, staff will distribute it once it becomes available. I am available for questions.
Ashley, if you could go through the roll call, please, for questions or comments.
President Close.
No questions, thanks.
Superintendent Hoffman.
No questions, thank you.
Dr. Crockett.
None, thank you.
Mr. Mason.
None, thank you.
Mr. Swanson.
No questions.
Mr. Twist.
Nope.
Rachel Yanoff.
I'm sorry, no questions. I'm good. Thank you very much for all the work.
Thank you. President Lee.
No questions. And so is there a motion?
President Lee, this is Hans. I move to approve the fiscal year 2020 audit guidelines as presented and to direct staff to incorporate the Auditor General and ADE student attendance reporting and procurement changes available by June 23rd, 2020 into the board's fiscal year 2020 legal FRCS and procurement compliance questionnaires, and to incorporate any ADE audit submission changes available by June 23rd, 2020 into the board's fiscal year 2020 audit guidelines. Board staff shall date all audit documents based on the date the document will be released, which must be no later than July 1st, 2020. Further, I move to direct staff to distribute to charter holders and audit firms the addendum issued by the Auditor General and ADE that provides guidance for auditors on what to look for and how to proceed with testing in light of COVID-19.
Thank you, Mr. Close. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Crockett. Alexis.
Vice President Close,
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Swanson,
Aye.
Mr. Twist,
Aye.
Ms. Yanov, Ms. Yanov, President Lee,
Aye.
motion passes unanimously.
Great. Thank you so much. All right, going on to item L, charter board meeting dates and deadlines for 2020. Ashley.
Presently, and members, this item is coming to you with some changes to our proposed deadlines and meeting dates. Currently, our board did approve the original schedule for board meetings in October, and since then have been notified of scheduling conflicts with the State Board of Education, in which we do utilize their board room. So because of those scheduling conflicts, we have changed the October meeting on October 13th to just be a telephonic meeting. So the date will stay the same, but it will be telephonic. Probably use something similar to what we're doing today, using Zoom. And then we've also changed the December meeting. In December, we had originally scheduled 2 dates for meetings on the December 14th and December 15th. And this is because we typically look at our new charter applications during that time. However, we typically can get through the new charter applications in one day. So what we're recommending is just meeting on December 15th, which is a Tuesday. Additionally, we are requesting an additional meeting be scheduled for July 20th, and that meeting will be held at 1 p.m. For that meeting, it is because of COVID-19 and the current school closures. There just are some items that need to go in front of the board for additional consideration, some for disciplinary action, but some also for an additional expansion requests, which I'll get into. Because of the closures, we just have not been able to get some of the documentation together for you to be considered at this meeting. So we want to get some of that information to the board as soon as possible. So the July 20th meeting would be helpful for that purpose. Additionally, during the school closures, the State Board of Education and the State Board for Charter Schools, we were approached by many schools, both State Board of Education being that they were approached by district schools, and then us by charter schools, indicating that through the school closure due to COVID-19, that they actually are getting feedback from their parents that if everything goes back to normal in the spring, that they can still want to continue to have the option of distance learning, but stay with their school. So what we have done is we have opened up the window for schools that are eligible, meaning that charters, if they have an A, B, or C, and they meet the board's operational and financial expectations, they're eligible to apply for an expansion request to include an online program or new school. With that, what we were able to do for online schools is continue to have those expectations be high, however, allow for an extended opportunity to apply for an AOI. So that deadline for schools to apply is May 14th. By May 14th, any school that wants to operate an AOI starting this upcoming school year needs to submit an administratively complete AOI request. That request will then be sent to Rio Salado to follow our same exact process that we do at any other given time. Rio Salado will do a virtual instead of an in-person interview process to make sure that all additional questions they have through the review process are answered. And then once they are deemed complete and that review is done by Rio Salado, then it will come to our board and for the board's full consideration prior to the upcoming school year. So this process staff has been working with the leaders with the State Board of Education to make sure that our processes are somewhat in line and that we continue to be consistent for both our district and charters. So with that being said, it's also coming to you to extend the expansion request for AOIs to allow for the schools to submit AOI requests by May 14th and then to be considered at the July 20th meeting. With that, President Lee, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Ashley. And again, I know I've said this a couple of times, but I hope you guys really hear it. We really appreciate all the work you've done to really pivot and respond to everything that COVID-19 has, brought on, and just really advocating for our charters. And so I just appreciate that. And I'm in favor of all of this, including the July meeting. And so if Ashley, you could just run through the members to see if there's any other questions, comments, or concerns, I'd appreciate that.
Vice President Close.
No questions or comments. Thanks.
Superintendent Hoffman.
No comments. Thank you so much.
Dr. Crockett.
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Mason.
No questions, thanks.
Mr. Swanson.
No questions.
Mr. Twist. Ms. Yanoff.
Okay. All right. And since it sounds like there's no questions, if we have a motion.
President Lee, this is Hans. I move that the board adopt the revisions to the charter board meeting dates and deadlines for 2020 as presented to the board today and found in the materials for today's board meeting, and direct staff to make necessary changes to other documents to reflect the board's action at this meeting.
Great. Thank you, Hans. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Crockett. Alexis?
Vice President Close.
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman.
Aye.
Dr. Crockett.
Aye.
Mr. Mason.
Aye.
Mr. Swanson.
Aye.
Mr. Twist. Ms. Yanoff. President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, moving on, an item I'm extremely excited about, item M. Serena.
Yes. Give me one moment. My video's decided not to start.
No problem.
All right. So item M. Over the last several months, board staff and Vice President Close have been researching the possibility of establishing a rural and tribal schools committee to help support the unique needs of our charter schools in rural and tribal areas. These schools can face obstacles due to their location, such as trouble accessing necessary instructional resources and maintaining steady enrollment. The Rural and Tribal Schools Committee, if approved, will meet on a monthly basis with charter operators, administrators, and other stakeholders to facilitate a sharing of resources and collaboration. And I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Serena. Ashley, if you could go through the board members to see if there's any questions or comments.
Vice President Close.
I have no questions. Just needless to say, I'm excited about this proposed committee, so I think it gets approved. Thanks.
Superintendent Hoffman.
Thank you. I would also like to share my enthusiasm for the creation of this committee. We look forward to appointing someone from the department to serve in this group. And also last year I did have the opportunity to visit some both rural and tribal schools, charter schools. And so I definitely see a need for this committee and look forward to that, learning more about the work.
And Superintendent Hoffman, is it my understanding that the person that you are recommending is Ms. Begay?
I believe so. I was waiting for the final confirmation for that, but I believe so. We'll make sure to, did you hear back from Emily today about that?
I did. I just heard back from her.
Then that's it, because I was waiting for like the final check. That's what the Office of Indian Education and Policy team recommended as well.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Ms. Crockett.
Just a comment to express my appreciation to Vice President Close and the board. I think this is a terrific leadership opportunity for the Arizona State Board for Charter Schools.
Mr. Mason.
I have no comments, but I'm glad that we're moving forward with this. Thanks.
Mr. Swanson.
No comments, but awesome job.
Thank you. Mr. Twist. Okay. Ms. Yanov. Okay. And President Lee.
No questions, but again, just echoing how excited I am for this and how excited I am for Mr. Close to be leading this. It really is just kind of an honor to have this as part of the charter board. So I think this is really great. And with that, is there a motion?
President Lee, this is Ashley.
Yes.
I don't know how you'd like to proceed. I know Rachel must have had to get off, but I do believe she has requested to be a part of this committee as well. So from my understanding, we would have Vice President Close, Ms. Begay as the superintendent's designee, and then Rachel Yanov as another board member that would represent the board during this task force meetings.
That would be perfect. And should I go ahead and do the motion since Hans is a part of it? Otherwise, I'm sure Hans would want to make the motion. But is there any reason he can't if he's nominating himself?
Vicki, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's fine for anyone to make a motion, including Hans.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
All right. Well, then I will let Hans do this. And great.
All right, President Lee, I'll go ahead and make the motion then. I move that the board establish the Rural and Tribal Schools Committee for the reasons presented and appoint board members Close and Yanov, as well as Ms. Begay as the superintendent's designee.
And I'll second that. Thank you. Alexis, if you would like to do the roll call.
Vice President Close.
Aye.
Superintendent Hoffman.
Aye.
Dr. Crockett.
Aye.
Mr. Mason.
Aye.
Mr. Swanson.
Aye.
Mr. Twist. Ms. Yanov. President Lee.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
That's great. Thank you so much. And Hans, thank you again so much for kind of leading this. We really appreciate it. All right. Well, guys, item N, summary of current events. Ashley.
I can make this really quick for all of you. Some exciting news here at the board. We've been waiting to get our renovations done to allow for the additional staff that the legislature gave us for the past couple fiscal years. So our offices will be starting renovation this Wednesday. What that means is our board offices will be closed. However, board staff is going to be available, and we will have information for the public if someone does come to our board offices where they can find us and where they can get in touch with us. But we'll make sure to send out that information to all of our charters to make sure that no charter is left without access to board staff. But yes, exciting times, and hopefully we'll have a better and office and more efficient office space. So we're looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. All right. And so with that, it looks like we are adjourned before noon. So 11:45.
Awesome.
All right. We don't have to motion for that, right? I can't remember.
No, you're done.
We can just adjourn, right? Okay, good. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for everybody that's stayed on this whole time. Board members, I really appreciate it. And we will see you virtually or in person. Ashley will figure that out in July. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.